Well, guys, it happened. YouTube removed my video because apparently there were quite a few complaints about it. Oh well, c'est la vie. However, I wanted to talk about this. In the video that was deleted. By the way, these are all my thoughts and opinions. In the video that was deleted, I was talking about the dangers of partial summary judgments, which is exactly what happened right now. And my surprise that all the newspapers are going on as to how Meghan Markle won. She hasn't won. There was a partial summary judgment issued right now, but it's partial. Now, the dangers of partial summary judgments are that there is room to have the partial judgment issued canceled and a trial granted for everything. Because especially when the judge had very weak legal reasoning, which is the case right now, and when the remaining issues that are still to be taken to trial are linked to the partial summary judgment given. In this case, the copyright, which was actually what Meghan Markle was suing for to begin with, is linked, cannot be separated from the privacy case. How so? Because the copyright is to demonstrate who actually wrote the letter, what parts of the letters were written from her. So messages, because Meghan Markle is just right now, and please be aware that this is subject to appeal, she's right now relieved that she doesn't have to testify and that she doesn't have to present the text messages that she was ordered to. This is what her biggest win is. But the Associated Press can easily argue right now that they cannot present a proper defense. They can argue this, and they will win if they argue this. They cannot properly present a proper defense that their rights are violated, and they cannot present a proper defense with the current privacy judgment in favor of the claimant. Why? Because they're both linked. They can't be separated. So if that is the case, then the summary judgment on the privacy case falls apart. Because that is a very sound argument. How can the Associated Press only has to argue that? How can you cannot prove one thing without proving the other? Now, I'm also, this is a very short video. So Meghan Markle and her crazy Omid guy, shouldn't be singing victory right now because they haven't won anything. They are going to trial. Impartial judgments are never a good news for the people who wanted a summary judgment on everything, because that means that there are weakness in their cases. And and again, I repeat myself, when the remainder of the judgments of the issues that are to be taken to trial are linked and cannot be separated from the ones that were already ruled on, there is a good grounds to have everything annulled and go to trial. In this case, the Associated Press can argue that they were not able to present a defense because Meghan Markle had not presented the text messages. Because how can the judge decide that she wanted the letter to be private if she herself was giving authorization to other people to publish the letter? This is something that you know what I mean? This is something that they can argue, and it can be revoked. The whole thing can be annulled if the Associated Press presents the proper argument that both topics are linked. And by law, they cannot be left defenseless. I'm also leaving on the picture, on the thing, there's a very interesting article, a newspaper in the article, and the Times, where they actually really saying that it shouldn't be up to one judge to decide the freedom of the press, that it should be decided in Parliament in the UK, which is actually true. Because Meghan Markle's case, the judge compared it to the one with Prince Charles' case. There's a big difference there. Somebody stole his personal diary, where he was expressing his personal views in an intimate way, where he actually expected nobody to read it because it is his personal diary. Whereas Meghan, she has claimed that, first of all, it wasn't her idea to write the letter, that it was two senior royals to write the letter. So it wasn't her idea. It was somebody else's idea, two senior royals. So now, for the copyright, they have to subpoena the two senior royals. She has to name the two senior royals. And all her text messages to all those 4 aides have to be shown to the judge to demonstrate what parts of the letter she wrote. This corrupt judge, what he wants to do on March 2nd is to tell the Associated Press, you can only argue this. He wants to completely restrict their defense, and that is unlawful. So Associated Press, if the press is not in cahoots with Buckingham Palace or with Buckingham Palace or with the Markles, they will argue that and they will win it. But this article and the Times, the Times is a very respected newspaper. They published and they said that it shouldn't be up to one judge who's clearly biased to determine freedom of the press, because that is true. These are very strict laws in the UK that have to be decided by lawmakers, by Parliament people. So it will be very interesting. And Meghan Markle shouldn't be singing victory because she hasn't won anything. And again, partial summary judgments are very bad, because it means that the arguments presented were not convincing enough to have the whole thing dismissed. So, and when the two, again, I repeat myself, when the two things are together, it can't be separated. And if that weakens the defense, the rights of the person, of the defendant, then the whole thing has to be taken to trial. So she's not out of the woods yet. And again, let's all root for that. I hope people who are watching my channel, I know my channel is very small, but if somebody can help spread this out, because Yankee Wally and Taz, they have more people, they should start putting the narrative out that she hasn't won. The thing is still going to trial and it still can be appealed. Another thing is that the press is colluding for some reason with Buckingham Palace, putting out the narrative that Harry's so sad that he's losing his military titles. The reason why they're doing that is because when March 31st comes, if the Queen removes his military titles only, people are going to say, oh, good, the Queen took away his titles, his military titles, as though it is a big deal. That is just a smoke screen. Harry doesn't care about his military titles. And this is all a big hype up to say, oh, look, the Queen did something. She removed his military titles. The only outcome for March 31st is for Harry to be made a private citizen and removed from the line of succession, and his children as well. Enough of this. A letters patent has to be issued stating that ex-wives cannot hold royal titles, that royal titles cannot be used in conjunction with any private business or any businesses or any enterprises that will lead to financial gain. Right now, for example, Harry's putting the Duke of Sussex. That he is not using his name, he's using a title. And a title right now, and those titles represent the monarchy. And again, the Windsors don't own the monarchy. The monarchy is not their concept. It's just a family occupying the throne. Another family can occupy the throne. I do find myself I used to have a lot of respect for the Queen. I used to really like her. But everything that's happened just shows how much corruption she is allowing, to happen. And also Prince Charles is just terrible. And the same as Harry, it needs to be a purge. But a letters patent has to be there to regulate to stop, not even regulate, to stop the abuse of everything, of the corruption of the most of the members of the royal family, current royal family right now. because I like the institution of the monarchy. I just don't like the family occupying the throne right now. So yes, so the only possible outcome, and I hope people start spreading, forget the military titles. The military titles are nothing. If Harry is made a private citizen, the military titles go without say. So this is all, they're all being accomplices and trying to play the public for fools, because they're trying to make it sound as though, oh, what a big deal. Harry's heartbroken. He's going to lose his military titles. So what? That's the least of his worries. Let's grant, the monarch must grant him his wish to make him a private citizen. They obtained titles with fraud, because it was fraud that they committed to obtain those titles. Those titles were given with the express condition that, because they said that we're going to be working for the royal family, full-time members. They were told to take it slow. They were told, to live like private citizens. They were given that option. They told Harry, you know what, get to know this person. And there's two mistakes that the Queen has made: not being firm with Charles, and second, not telling Harry, you can marry this girl in 2019, May 2019. If you want my permission and you want to remain, because he was part of the sixth in line to the throne, he needed the Queen's permission to marry Meghan Markle in order to remain royal and to remain in the line of succession. So the Queen should have told them, listen, you can marry the girl in 2019, and you can announce this late 2018. She should have issued a condition, but no. Harry threw his toys out of the pram and everybody went running. And Meghan Markle has been abusing and misusing the racial card ever since. And Harry has gone along with it. They're both narcissists, and they're both, in my opinion, criminals. They're not out of the woods yet. The Associated Press, they have a lot of backing from people, and if they need the money, I'm pretty sure they can say a GoFundMe or whatever, and a lot of people will help. I would be the one donating money to their defense. But yeah, they can argue that both cases, the copyright and the privacy, are both linked, and therefore, in order to defend themselves, the privacy judgment has to be annulled, and she's screwed. They have very reasonable grounds to argue for that. And I'm leaving you, you can check the Times article that I'm leaving, the screenshot. I hope that's up there. What do you think? The only possible outcome is to have Harry made a private citizen. And I hope by making him a private citizen, he is out of the line of succession and he has no titles, so he can live his days in California being the brilliant man that he is. What do you think? I'm sure Meghan will love him for that. Anyways, have a good Saturday night.